successfully perform under the most stressful conditions and fights in Las Vegas, such as recent the Kovalev-Wood fight. You know, at the end of that fight, several people had some remarks to make, but once Kovalev spoke, Sergey was very happy with the performance of Mr. Burt. And I did review his performance the following morning, Sunday, watching the fight. And he's a person that takes charge, and he'll be a great referee for this event.
And for the audience that not used to box, how's the process to choose a referee? What's the step that you take? You know, what's
what I do is I look at every referee criteria. I look at his performance over the years, and I weigh who is gonna perform with aggressive fighters that may be thinking that they can get away with more than is allowed according to the ABC rules. We have several great officials, several great judges that could have judged this, that could have reffed this fight. Could have been Tony Weeks, Kenny Ballas. But I think Robert poses is the best selection based on his ability to control the action in the ring, and he will unequivocally stop a fight one punch sooner opposed to one punch later.
Just a question about McGregor being licensed by Nevada. You said that in the past that you guys probably would watch some of the videos and see like his training camps. That wasn't done, like you guys watching his supervision.
Yeah,
to grant his boxing license.
For Conor? Yes, I have. I watched 3 separate footage of Conor boxing, and I could see consistent improvement of him throughout those fights.
And is it good?
Yes. Well, remains to be seen just how good it really is.
Now, Marnell mentioned distribution of the padding on the gloves. That's also important. Is the commission going to look at the gloves? Because they're each going to get their own, they have their own sponsors, their own brands. Is the commission going to look at the gloves and see the distribution to see?
Yeah, our standard procedure for all championship fights or 12-round main events is that we require the promoter to provide us the gloves 72 hours before the fight. At that point in time, I bring in my chief inspector, who is intimately familiar with how gloves are manufactured. He and I take a look at the gloves. We take them, we open them up because they come to us sealed. We go ahead and we weigh them. We look at the thumb. We look at a litany of different aspects of the glove. At that point in time, if they look like they're approvable, if they're approved by us, then we'll go ahead and we reseal them, we date them, we initial them, and we maintain them until the night of the fight. The night of the fight, the inspectors will get the gloves and give them to the fighters. So it's a standard practice that's been in place now for about 3 years and 3 months.
Have you ever come across a situation where you haven't approved any gloves?
No. There's been 1 or 2 exceptions where a glove will come in a couple ounces too light. If that's the case, we ship them back, but usually the promoters will give us three sets of gloves, and this way they're able to get their primary gloves and their alternate, their seconds.
How comfortable are you with the decision today? I mean, obviously you don't get to weigh in and make a vote, but you observe and administrate. How comfortable are you with the decision to switch to the 8-ounce glove?
I'm very comfortable with the decision. I think that the chairman and the commissioners used outstanding judgment and showed their wisdom with what our regulations are historically and why those regulations are in place, and that it's definitely productive for us to do a scientific study. And then additionally, Floyd has fought at 147 for years. Most of the time he uses 8-ounce gloves, and in 10 years he hasn't knocked anybody out with 8-ounce gloves except for Ricky Hatton. Okay, and the 3 times he used 10-ounce gloves was against Canelo, Cotto, and Oscar De La Hoya a long time ago. And of course he won. So I think his ability, and every time Floyd fights, even at 147, He's used to fighting fighters that are bigger, get heavier, and maybe go up 1, 2, 2.5 weight classes. So it's not unusual for some fighters that Canelo at one point in time, I know he put 17 pounds on after a fight. And Floyd usually stays at his weight. You know, he's a very well-disciplined, intelligent fighter. And then conversely with McGregor, you know, Conor's used to using 4-ounce gloves. So instead of going to 10, they kick it down to 4, even though he's been training with 10-ounce gloves. So I think a one-fight exception is conducive to this fight because these are two elite fighters that pose a very, very interesting, compelling fight that is good for both MMA, boxing, and the fans.
Do you worry at all about precedent with people coming forward and saying, you know, one fight exception for this, one fight exception for that?
Well, no, because, you know, we don't historically do that. We pretty much stick to our regs, and they're written for a specific reason. But I think the attorneys for both camps made a respectable argument, and I think in particular the chairman and Commissioner Avancino and Commissioner Carpenter, all of them, they all weighed the facts, and we were able to come up with a solution that was a win-win situation for the fighters, the fans, and for the commission.